All right. Sorry, I did not record this thing. I didn't press record, so I'm trying to do that. So, but what I'm trying to say is what I'm trying to say is, we were trying to put up a slab here, and it's telling us it's either these beams were not properly joined. Look at this. You see where this joining is. You see where this joining is. I want to use. I wish I can use my mouse to circle this. I use anything to circle this. Do you get? So you see where this thing is. You see that now. Let's come to this side. You see where this beam stops. So you see the issue. You see that this one is joined to the column. Here is joined to the column. Here is not joined to the column. So I'm going to close this and say I'm going to delete this beam and select the beam, a beam again, and click from here to this one. You see now they now joined. So I'll go back here. I'll see I can put this. You see it's one panel. Do you get what I'm saying? So like presently now here it's one panel now because of that little opening that was here. So it happens in solid slab. It happens in any type of slab. You may be inserting it. Once there is a little opening, it will go. It will pick the next option. It will pick the next option. It will pick the next option for that. So we're assuming this to be a two lift, and here to be a staircase, and here is just an opening. So you see now let me show you something again. You see this is that another problem in that thing. So you see now that this is where our beam is stopping. It happened there too. This is where our slab is stopping. So there is a little space. There's a little space. There's a little space here. So what do? I'm going to select this. I'll delete this. I'll select this. I'll delete this beam. I'll go back. I'll select this beam. I'll go to the end. I'll drop it. Do you get it now? Now, if I delete this, you see, I even have three panels here. If I delete that and select, it will, you see, because of this opening now, it's trying to tell me there is still another space. So I will say, excuse me, I will remove this beam, and I will come here, I will select this beam and drag it. Make sure it's touching the other axis, I'll drop. So you see, it's still the same mistake is there. The same mistake is there. So I'll click from here to here. You see it's joining. So I'll go back and select the slab, and I have one panel there. I have one panel. So you see the problem now is most times, you don't get close, the whole thing is big, and it's just something we cannot just take. Do you get? It's become something we cannot just, it's big for us to handle. Not that it's big for us to handle. Let me look for a better word. Um, Let me look for a better word. Let's say it is. I want to say. Let's say it is the little part, the very minute, the very little essence of this is not showing up. So you see this. So if you select this now, you see first, second, you see third, of which this can be correct. We've corrected it in this one. So once you select the rib slab and put it up here, bam, it's one. So you see that this one is just one panel that you have, one panel that you have, one panel that you have. Do you get the gist now? So I'm going to close this. Now, having done this, the next thing is that I'm going to add my wall load. I'm going to add my wall load. I'm going to add my wall load. So I'll come up here. I'll say edit wall beam, beam wall load. I'll set edit beam wall load. So I can edit this beam wall load. We've gone through this. I'll say enter wall label, um, enter this. So I'll say 0.225, wall height 3.3, unit weight 3.142. So we have 10.3 as our dead load. We have 10.2, 10.37 as our dead load. So I can say okay. And now the next thing to do. So is either you have to select this back and say copy So I'll say select all the beams, click the first one, I'll scroll down, I'll hold shift and click on the last one. So you allow it to run, you allow this to run. I'll just say control, or instead of saying control V, I'll right click and say paste copied beam load. This is I copied a beam load, so I'll paste it. I'll say yes. So the beam load is there. Is up. It is up now. So now, having this now, is there anything you can do to your wall? Maybe add to your wall or add column or wall nodal load. Now, the next thing is these walls, are they having a nodal load? So all these ones, application of wall nodal load comes up. When we want to run analysis, we'll get back to that. So I want to cancel this. So now, having gotten this, I want to ask if anyone have a question so far. If you have a question, so far, we've modeled this. If you have a question, let me hear you. If you have a question, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for you if you have a question. All right. Since no question, now I'm going to copy this, but I don't want to copy everything. I'm going to copy this. I don't want to copy everything. I want to change the beam arrangement, the column arrangement, and probably, sorry, not the column arrangement. I want to change the beam arrangement, and I want to have some cantilevers. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll go to building. I'll say insert story. So I want like 5 number of floors. Okay, I have 5 number of floors now. Now, I've added that. I'll go back. I'll say generate floors. I'll say use story 1, generates from story 3, 4 to 5. Do you get it? Use story 1, generate story 3, 4 to 5. So I'm going to assume that this my structure is having cantilevers per story, different position of cantilevers per story, different position of cantilevers. Okay, sir. So where are you lost? Or why we are here is so that when you're lost, you tell us where are you lost. We'll put it up. Where are you lost? Where did you miss it? Where are you lost? Where did you miss it? At what point did you miss it? So let's know. Okay. So see, this class is meant for you. It's meant to be detailed. That is why is a class where we don't just come and do Orion and you get the video and go. It's a class where if you get lost, I miss it here, we'll go back, correct it, we'll make sure you're okay. Do you get it? So if you get lost, please let us know so that we'll just go back, push it up for you. Okay. All right. Then on that note, um, put up we'll follow up, put up your questions, and we'll have tomorrow for questions and where you missed it. Tomorrow for questions and where you missed it. I'm extending the class instead of stopping on 23rd. We decided to give a day because of the issues we have the first day to be able to help out. So tell us your question. We'll compile it, answer it on Monday. We'll answer it on Monday, and God will help us. We'll create a group for the same group. We'll create it, we'll leave it for issues. You have issues, you post it, we'll sort it out for you. Okay, sir. All right. Thank you. So now I don't want um I want my column beams. I want my column. I want my walls. Remember, that's the lift walls. So I want them to remain there. And I want, I've not added slab stripe. So I've not added slab stripe. I want, I want to remove this. I want to remove this. And so I want to use probably, um, okay. I just want my axis, columns, and beams. So I'll click OK. So I'll say close. So I have this. I have this now. I have this now. Okay. So we have this now. Now, this open plane now that we have, um, the next question, the question I want to ask is, can someone, this is in story 5, so I want to go start with story 2. I want to start with story 2. So assuming this column gets up, and gets to this, okay? And now at this point, I want to have I want to start inserting my cantilevers. So I will just select this. I'll offset this axis. I'll say I want it 1.2 meters away. I want it 1.2 meters away. Okay. So I want this to go like this, and come like this. So I want it to be like a box is shooting out. So let me show you. Though. So I'm going to put up this to this, and this to this, and this to this. So I'll make sure they are joining. That has always been the challenge. So I want to put up another column, cantilever from here to here, and from here to here. Do you get the gist now? So I will do these cantilevers will carry up. It will continue. Um, then I will have another cantilever. I'll have another cantilever here and here. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to select this and say offset axis 1, 2. I want it the same 1.2, and I'll close this. I'll say beam. I'll select this to this. I'll select this to this, and I'll select this to this. I'll select this to this. So I want to have this as cantilever like this for first floor. So I'm going to go to, that's for second floor, sorry. So I'm going to go to third floor. I'm going to go to third floor, and in this third floor, remember the cantilever is like this and like this. So I'll select my beam again, and I'll put it up to this point, to this point, to this point. So I'll put it up, I'll take it up to this, I'll take it up to this. Do you get it? So I'll take from here to here. I'll take from here to here, from here to here. Um, I'll fix from here to here, here to here, here to here. So I have this originally at first at second floor. So but I'm on third floor. So I will come here. I want to offset again. I'll right click and say offset 1.2 again. Okay. So I have this. I'll say well, I'll say beam. So but I want it to be beam to beam. I want it to be resting on columns. The way I want it is to be resting on columns. So I can equally stretch this to this point. Do you get it? I can equally stretch it to this point. So now, having this for third floor, I'm just trying to bring up innovatives for this. So I'll go to fourth floor, and I'll repeat the same thing. So you can actually um, I'm trying to move out this. So you can actually select something like this so that you'll be seeing what we are creating. You see you see now these are the points we've created. These are the offsets, the cantilevers we are adding on this other side. This is the way it is on this other side. Do you get the point now? So it's it's looking amazing though. So it's about, should in case you have different cantilevers from first floor, from second floor up, how do you tackle it? And you've added your GA the way it should be, and so how do you take care of that one? So that is what we are doing. But let's go back to this. So I'm gonna take a beam again, and take to this point and bring it up again here, bring it up again here. So I think they call this either staggered modular in architecture, where you have different staggers. But so I'm going to have from here, and I'm having to this point, and I'm having to this point. Okay. I will ensure they are really joining. Uh, so I'll also take from here, take care of these other points. I'll also take care of these other points. So, but now I've gotten these points. I've gotten these points. So I can go to fifth floor. I can go to fifth floor and do the same thing. I can go to fifth floor I'm probably, and do the same thing. Not probably. I can go to fifth floor and do the same thing. So when the design is staggered, what do you do? How do you? That's what we are trying to show you. That's what I'm trying to show you. So I'll take to this. I want to delete this so that it doesn't create problem for me. So now, if I have this, um, I think I've done what I wanted to do. Okay, so I have my cantilevers at different points. 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 You get, like here, and I pushed it to the first floor. I pushed it to the end, and so I have these at different points. So you see, this one continued from here to here. This one continued from here to here. This one continued. This one continued, and I just staggered this a bit while the front ones continued also. So, but now let's work on this. So now I want to do something. I want to go to first floor. I want to know the beams that the last number of beam, first floor. I'll go to beams. The last beam I created is beam 61. So I'll go to second floor. I'll click here, go to second floor. I'll copy this. I'll right click this and copy beam wall load here. I'll copy the beam wall load. Okay, how to extend the beams for the cantilever. How to extend the beams for the cantilever. If you understand, okay, let's say this is in this floor, we do not have cantilever here. So because of this question, I'm going to add a cantilever beam here. You just select your normal beam. You select your beam. This is the axis we offsetted. We started it from story 3, this part from story 3. So I'm going to put it up here, and okay, I'm going to extend this. So you can even do this type of, for instance, now you can do this type, but because I have another 3 more floors on top of this, so leaving this like this, it may not actually be okay. If you run analysis very well, it may pass. But um, so there may be need for this. You get how to insert cantilever beam now. We just added the beam to the cantilever area. Okay, so of which, if you check it back, now, you see that, see, we have it on the first floor, on the second floor, third floor, fourth floor, fifth floor. All right. So now, having done this, we stopped at beam 61. So when I copy the beam wall load, any beam from 61 downwards is the one I added new. So I'll go to 62. I will hold it and select the last one. So it will select the newly added cantilever beams. I'll say Control V. Yes. It will paste the beam wall load on the newly added beams. So assuming now, and I decided, okay, I need to add a beam here. This beam needs to continue like this. Might decide this beam need to continue like this. So the only thing is I'll select this, I'll say Control V. That is if it's still working. Since it's not working again, I'll copy the beam wall load again, select the last beam I added and say Control V, I'll say yes. So I'll go to the next floor, story 3. I'll go to the next floor, story 3. I'll click, look at this. You want to get the beam dialog. So you just click on this, select and select this. Select from 62 downwards because from the last beam we added was 61. So from 61 downwards. So we'll have this and we'll have this. To just select them. And once all of them are selected, I'll say Control V. I'll say Control V. So it's not pasting. That means I did not copy it. So I'll come back here. I'll copy beam wall load, and I'll check after 61 is 73. Is 73, and after that I'll say Control V. I'll say yes. All right. So what's the okay? How did I create several stories? Okay, I'll give you a link on how to do that. Go to building, insert number of stories. Then after inserting the number of stories, it will, the whole of this will go blank. The whole of this will go blank. Then go back to building again and say generate. So you to tell you use story 1 as source story and the rest. But because we are working on this, that's why it's telling you now story 3. So but if you take it to story 1, for instance, now if I take this to story 1 now, if I take this to story 1 now, and say generate story, you see the target story starts from 1. But because I'm in story 3, it's so you just click on this and select everything is this is checked, or maybe you want to uncheck, you click OK. So when you click OK, it creates the story up. It generates the several floors, and that is it. We did this in using orthogonal axis generator. We did it in the last class. If you download the video, you will see that we computed. I tried to take care of this area in the first one. I tried to take care of it in the second one. So all these are very easy thing. That was why I said practice so that you bring back your question. I tried this, it did not work. So that we will also know where to help you from. So I'll go to story 4. I'll copy this so that it will not, I'll copy beam wall load. I'll go to 61. I'll find 61. I'll select 89 and select 105. I'll say Control V. I'll say yes. I'll save. So I will go to story 5 again. I'll right click and copy beam wall load and go to 61 again. I'll find it. 61 was the last one, so we'll have 105 after 61. And now, the next question someone may ask, The next question someone may ask is that, why is it staggering after 61 you're having 105 in beam 5 in story 5? The reason is that um, when you go to story, let me paste this first. Control V. Oh, let me copy beam wall load. I will answer that question I just created. That problem I just created, I'll answer it. I'll say, I'll allow it to finish. I'll say Control V. I'll say yes. So I'll allow it to finish. I'll say yes. I'll say Control S. I have to save it. Now, if you go to story 2, where we started the uneven stuff. So if you go to beams, after 61, after beam 61, you have 62, and it ended in 75. If you go to story 3 and check the beams, the other one ended in 75, I'll be 71. Okay, 72. This one started in 73. So it's trying to number the beams accordingly, even if they are in different floors. Do you get the gist now? So that is the reason. So don't get confused with the numbers and that you forget what you want. So I can now say, okay, from story, go back there from story 2 and add my beam slab is grillage that I already want. I've added my okay, my dead load, I'm saying I'm using 3.6 for my dead load, and I'm using this. I'm assuming this to be an office. That is why it's, or a residential apartment with a lift. Yes, a residential apartment with a lift. So I can still use residential areas. So I'll use this. So I'll come back here and change the insertion to axis region. I'll fix this here. So I'm cool. I have this. I have this. So I'll go to story 3. I'll I'll do that. I'll do same. Sorry, is axis region. So I have to go back and put it in beam region and say update. So that it to start being in confinement of the beams. So I'll, remember that staircase area. So I'll have this. All right. So I'll go to story 4. Go back to story 4, and I'll repeat the same thing. I want to add So I'll set axis region so that I'll be able to get here. So I have within this area, and I'll go to story 5, and I'll first change the insertion, or I'll use this first and take it to beam areas, and start adding. So okay, so now we have this, and I think you appreciate it more now when you check it out and see what you've been able to achieve. You see what you've been able to achieve. You will appreciate it more. So having this now, this is having this like this, it's looking better. It's looking better. So I will now go back to now I'll start inserting my, I'll go to run. I have to set my reinforcement, go to building, and edit material. Um, I'll say 2025, apply. I'll say okay. 410, apply to all. I'll say okay. Now I'll start selecting my reinforcement. First, my concrete grade is 24. My unit weight of block is 3.142. I don't have a thermal expansion, so I'll just leave it as it is. So I'll come to columns. I want to use Y25 only for my columns. I want to use Y25 only for my columns. Y25 only. So I'll uncheck every other one and leave Y25. I will uncheck every other one and leave Y25. I'll say okay. So my walls, since it's longitudinal, I have 3 directions, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yes, I have longitudinal and horizontal web. I'm going to use Y12. I'm going to use Y12 for my web. So I'll use that. My longitudinal, I will uncheck every other one. I will uncheck every other one. I will uncheck every other one. I will check every other one, and I will select that. So I'll go to horizontal. I'll do the same thing. So you must have decided your bar size, what you want to use. I'm leaving Y12. So I'll come to beams. I also want to use Y25 only. I want to use Y25 only. So I'm not leaving any other one. I want to use Y25 only. So for my slab is Y12. So I want to use, for my slab, I want to use Y12. I want to use Y12 for my slab. Now, for my rib slabs, I'll select, I want to use, for my rib slabs, I want to use Y16 for my ribs. I want to use Y16 for my ribs. So I'm going to uncheck every other thing. I'm going to put up my foundation. I want to use Y25. my foundation, I want to use Y25, so I'll check Y25. I'll uncheck every other one. I'll click OK. So for my lanes, I want to use Y10. So I'll leave Y10 checked. I'll leave Y10 checked. And then I'll click OK. I'll click OK. So having gotten this, I'll say OK. I will close. So I'll first of all select my slab stripe. This is story 5. I can do it here. I can start from story 1. I'll select my FE finite element slab stripe. Once I select my FE slab stripe, it's for once you use your rib slab, the slab stripe to use your finite element slab stripe. So I'll draw from here. It's not showing any details. Yes. And so I'll select from here. I'll run. I'm running the other way around. I'm running. So having done that, having inserted my slab stripe, I will I'll go to run. So now you can go to I want to get the ribs. Said there is nothing for nothing is coming up for now. So I'll close this. That means so I'll go to run. Sorry, I'll do that for other floors. I have to slab stripe 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 other floors. Okay. So having done that, I will I'll go to the next floor. Okay, I've not done for here. All right, so I'll move to the next floor. I will also slab stripe here. Also slab stripe here. And I will also take it up here. All right, I'll go to the last floor being them. I'll go to second floor. Remember, we did not do it in first floor. So I'm going to So, here is not adding. So this is I'm starting with a beam and ending with a slab. So, and I'll do that for first floor also. So, having done these now, I will, I can now comfortably go and run. I run a reef slab analysis. So I'll say reef slab analysis for all floors. I'll say design. So it's bringing out the calculation sheet. I brought out the calculation sheet and all that. So it's telling you both the moment and the distribution factors, So you can take to PDF if you want to save. If you want to save it, you can take it to PDF if you want to save. So, but I'm exiting this exit. I'll click the exit button and I'll close this. So now the next point or line of action, is I'll go back there. I'll run load decomposition. I'll click on load decomposition. And then I'll say yes, solve, use sparse and solve, sparse analysis and solve. I'll click this. Okay, I'll click on this. It's coming up. So it will load the floors to run a process. This is the floor. It's generating a mesh model. So you allow it, we're going to allow it to run. So I'm going to allow it to run. It's going to run the whole of that. So we're waiting for it to run up. So once it finishes, you see. All right. Now this is the slab now for us. This is the slab now. So now you look at this, you can actually see the way the load is going. You can actually see the way the load is going. So you can actually look at the way the load is going. Do you get? So looking at it, this is the slab. So it's telling us how the load is being transposed. Remember, we tried to decompose the load to go down to the beams and to the ribs. So you see there is each rib in every of what is it called? There is a rib in going in every direction. So you see these are ribs being loads being decomposed and transmitted down to the ribs. They are transmitted down to the ribs, and that is just the thing. So okay, so I'm going to generate model. I'll click on generate model. So I want to see this in a more professional way. Okay. So it's almost finishing in generating the model for the rib slab. Remember what we're doing is we're trying to do load decomposition, and you know we decompose the load, and the whole thing goes down. So it's almost done. So it's see, this is it. this is it, and displaying the. Let me see if I can. Okay, let's get. Okay, labels. If we can get the labels. Okay, plates. So you see, it's coming up. So okay, the adding the nodal load is once you add the label, the whole thing gets um so clumsy and all that. So, but you see, so these are different. Um, so so these are the loads on the whole thing. So at this point, I'm going to say I want to close this. Having seen what we've done the load decomposition, and so I'm going to close this. Oh, mesh. So at this point, I'll close this. So wait for it to run, and once it finishes, we'll once it finishes, we'll so you just have to, you see the problem with the load decomposition, you just have to give it time, and you know, the, all right, I think it's done. So I will close this. I'll close this. going to close this. So allow it to run its activities and you know. So it have determined the load transfers and they have determined the load transfers um, transferred from slab. So automatically you've transferred the load from the slab. Do you get? You've transferred the load from the slab. So the next thing, I'm going to close this. You say, okay, FE, see what is popping up now. I said, um, finite element decomposed loads are always applied to isolated columns. You can also apply these loads to beams and walls using the following coverage. Apply to beams and walls in the story. Apply to all beams in the walls. So I'm going to say apply to all beams in the model, and it will actually get to all the beams in the model. To actually get to all the beams in the model. So now, having done that, I can now go here, building analysis, and I'll come down my load combination. I want to check, this is my load combination. So if you want to, I want to generate load, I can say load generator, the load template, vertical load, I'll activate this and activate this. Direction or pattern of the direction of dependent pattern loading. I can check this. Stage construction, I may leave stage construction. Soil pressure, check on soil pressure. Loading temperature, wind load, I'll say check on wind load. I can say okay. So you see, it automatically generates the loads. And once the loads are generated, I'll click OK. And then I've generated the load. So I'll come here, the story one, these are the masses, these are the whole thing, forces and whatever. So I'll click OK. If you want to get the report, you just click on the report. But I'll come back to model option. I'll go to rigid zone. I'll say reduce by 2025. And I'll say analysis. I'll go and check. I'll have to, check my model, see if maybe there is any error. It may count, it's counting these errors. We, after creating the model, we started adding axes again, adding some cantilevers. So Orion sees it step by step. You don't do this, and that's why you're seeing that 5 number of errors. So if you even check these errors, if there are error counts, it will be telling you that your error counts will be axes and whatever. Okay, good. You say column 1, these are overlapping, and column these are the columns that it's seen as, they are overlapping. That is to say, this column now came up, it came up, and it's okay. Let me even show you. Okay, it said column one column 28 and one column 29 are overlapping. Good. Now look at, let me show you. Let me cancel this. Now I didn't get what it's saying. This is one column 28 and this is one column 29. Remember, we wanted to get a shape. So we used these two columns to overlap. So that is what is counting as error. So that's not a challenge. And so I'll go back to building analysis. I'll go back to model up, analysis. I'll say uncheck, or I'll say start. He said finite element decomposition is being used for some beams, but is out of date for story 2.3. Have to update it. Okay. This Okay, so I have to do finite elements. I have to run that thing for story 2, 3, 4, 5. It seems as if the load decomposition, it seems as if what we run was story. Okay, this is, I can do this now for, you see, story one that it's run, the story one that was done. So it's telling us, it said, will be performed depending on number of floors, including level of life recommended. Okay. He said, please check the machine at each, pause to check the machine at each floor. I don't want to pause anything. So the thing is coming up. It's coming up. So you just have to give it time for it to, for it to run. So you're gonna give it patience and let it run, let it finish up. So you see, he's doing it floor by floor and all that. So you just allow it have to take a whole lot of time. The bigger your work, the bigger the longer the analysis takes to run. The bigger your work, the longer the analysis takes to run. And so that's the thing. If it's just a normal simple structure, you get it. You just get it plainly, and that's it. So you see, it has finished the load decomposition and whatever. For story 3, I think it's moving down to 2 now. It's trying to create the mesh, and so it will also run like this for. All right. This is taking a bit much of time. I'm trying to. So we're gonna give it time. It's running for the next floor. It's running for the next floor, and so we'll just give it time. It's coming up. So you see, this is it has finished the load decomposition. So I can, if you want to go get post analysis, that's after the analysis, you want to get reports for that. You can do a model export. Let me close this. What is the problem now? I think it's trying to run another one for this one. we'll just give it time. So let's give it time so that this other one will come up and it will finish up. Let's give it time. It will finish up and we'll just see what I'm saying. It was trying to rerun that one again and said beam loads have been calculated at all stories will be transferred to column directly when beams are not connected, blah blah blah. He said in order to transfer beam, okay, select the beams in the building option when closing the dialog box or use the option in the right click menu or use the beam loads editor. So you want to edit the beam load now. The more loads have been added to the beams. So if I click OK, I can click on model export. So you want to get your load decomposition, you can click on this, give it time, it will generate um, your analysis. So it's now asking you which kind of report do you want to create. Do you want to create node report or do you want to create which kind of report you want to create? So I can say node, under node plates. Okay, let's under nodes. You can say create nodes or sorting by loading. You can use sorting by loading and column or wall report, whatever you want to create. But let's just do one so that you see how it looks like and so I see how it looks like. So these are your nodal results. These are your nodal results and having these nodal results. So I'm going to close this. If you want to save it, you save. It's part of your calculation sheet for load decomposition. Um, Close, apply to all beams in the model. And I can now go to run and go to building and then go to model option, post analysis. I can still say start. So you see my analysis have started running on its own. It has started running on its own. It has started running on its own. So it has started running on its own. I've started running on Amazon, and so it will just finish up. The design will just finish up, and once it finishes up, so we'll see we'll get our calculation sheet for the beam, get our calculation sheet for the columns, and not just getting a calculation sheet for the beams and the columns, we'll generate our reports, our details. We'll generate our details. Then probably I will do a, a one type of foundation, and then by tomorrow we'll conclude the foundations. We'll conclude we'll conclude on the foundations. Then we'll take any question of any type, any question of any type, any question of any type. We'll take it, and God will help us. We'll see how far we'll go. So you see, the thing is running as fast as it could. So you see, it has concluded. Our building analysis are they're all complete now. So it has completed successfully. I'll click OK. So I'll go to post model. So I want to get my beam details. I want to get my beam details. First, okay, let's get these are. I'll go to post model. These are column slash wall detail. These are beam slash column detail. So let's go to column slash. So you see all our columns. Some of them passed, some failed. So so we're going to do something. So I'm going to click on filter. I'm going to say filter failed members only. I'll say okay. So these are the members that is saying that if I'll right click on them, and then these are the members that are 6Y. So you see, due to the bulkiness of the work, it's even using at some Y14. So I will first reset these bars, and when I reset them, I'll select Y25, I'll select Y25, I'll select Y25. So you see it's affecting this. I'll go to share design. That's to my links. I'll say Y10, Y10. I'll say calculate. It's giving me 300. I'll say okay. So you see how to get it. So another way is let me remove this one that is has passed. I can say column design batch mode. So I want it to redesign the columns. I'll say redesign. Now look at this. I did not change this. I said it said check still, select new still when previous bar are insufficient. So I allow it to run like this. So you can either do this or do the interactive design. What I just did is an interactive design where I have to check what is the problem. It's telling me this is the problem. I'll now say, okay, this is the thing to do, this is the thing to do. So I'll close. You see, some have passed and some are still saying section insufficient or whatever. And so I'll just click here. I'll click on interactive design. Either you click on interactive design or you click on this. So you see the problem now is having 4 plus 2 y25, 4y25 plus 2y25. So I'll reset bars. It goes back to 6. See, it's 6 here. I'll select this, share design, y10, y10. I'll calculate. I'll click OK, and so this is just a very little way of doing it. So I'll say reset bars. Now look at this. I'll say this calculate. It's giving me this. I'll come back here. Sorry, and select Y25. I'll say okay. It has passed. So I'll do that for all. I'll do that for all. I'll reset the links so that it will just take me to an average. To just take me to an average. Calculate. Once it calculates it, it's cleared. Once it calculates it, it's cleared. I can even click on calculate and the whole thing is come up. I'll say okay. So I can say reset bars Y25. I'll say calculate. I can be doing it like that. Do you get it? So you see, this one self is even for walls. I'll say reset walls. The walls now is using Y25. What I selected was Y12 for walls. That was what I selected for Y12. He's now saying clear bar spacing, blah blah blah, insufficient. Come here, say calculate. Go back there. Is it still saying that? See if it will pass. It have. So I'm using Y8 at 130. I'm using Y8 at 130. So I'm going to, reset this. So this is what you're just expected to do in in your design. There is nothing too special about it. So you just run this. It's if it's numerous, you just have to be patient and you do them. So now look at this. It's telling me at the edges it needs, if you look at here very well, let me remove here. You see, this place is telling you that the clear bar spacing is whatever is not accepting it, is showing red. If you just put up 2 or 1, you see, 2 bars are here now, but I want it 1. I just want one bar. One bar is here. So automatically one bar will come up here. Don't know if you get it. One bar is here, one bar is here. So I'll say if I go to share this thing design, it's okay. I click it, it goes. So but now the next question is, this thing is too big so that we'll look at into other things. The next question is, how do I get my calculation sheets? There are ones that failed though, that are still down. As you can see, there are ones that failed that are still down. How do you get your calculation sheet? It's just very simple. Look at this. Look at these two design reports. Design reports. So you just click on design reports and I'll click on display. It will not show any design, any beam or column that did not pass. It will not. To not bring it up in the calculation sheet. Orion will not. That is one thing. For columns and beams, it will not. For columns and beams, it will not. So I just want you to know about it. And okay, I want to use constantia. I want to use +7 page setup. I'm going to use A4, and the A4 that I'm going to use, I want it portrait. I'll say okay. I'll click on OK. I'll wait for it. It will generate the floors, the calculation sheets for, you see, it's running story 1, 2, 3, story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see, now this is your calculation sheet. This is your calculation sheet. Do you get it? So this is your calculation sheet. This is your bending moment diagram. Is critical condition, your load combination is critical combination 1, G plus Q plus F and all that. So like I said, he's giving you 225 by 450 and he's telling you, he's giving you the dimension. So if I take this thing to PDF now, it's telling me it's 14 pages, 14 pages, 14 pages. So if I click to PDF, I have to wait for it to, to run. So you just have to wait for it. So you see, it's up already. So it's telling me my length is whiten at 300. You see, the calculation sheet is easy to read. It's easy to read. So it goes down like that. It goes down like that. It goes down like that. 225 by 450. So this is it on how to. So you can save your calculation sheet if you want. I'm escaping that, and so the same thing applies to your beams. So let's go to beams and see how far. Let's go to beams and see how far. You see, some of our beam failed, some of our beam passed. So the same thing we did in columns is just the same thing we're going to do in beam. So, but now this is it. You right click on this, that is using interactive design. Using interactive design. So this is your beam. This is your beam. So what is it that you're going to do? What is it? So what is it that you're going to do? Okay. So now this is what you're going to do. You see the top reinforcement here is, so I'll just click 1, 2, 3, 4. I want it to be 4. I'll bring it down to 25. The corner reinforcement 4. 4 bars. This can be 3. This can be 3, and this can be 3. So the top bars, I want it to be 4. So, but I want this to be cranked. So I'll say crank at both crank at both end. Um, you can also extend to right by 0.25 times L. So it's going in by 0.25 of 6,350 meters. That's 6.35 meters is extending to the, if you want it to extend to the left like that, it's also doing that. You can also do this, and so after that I'll click OK. Okay, it didn't come up. We'll see the problem. We'll see the problem. Okay, I'm going to make this 4y25. I'm going to make this, I'm going to make this 4y25, 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 and I'm going to make this 4. Okay, so let's leave this at this, and let's see my diagram. This is what my diagram looks like. Um, this is what my diagram looks like. So if I want the share, this is what my share looks like. If I want the loads, this is how the loads is acting on the beam, and it's being transmitted to the columns. You see, it's how it's is working, how it's going. So I'll say okay. What is no wahala. I'm okay with this. I'll say okay. So I'll go to beams. Is 600. Come back. I'll say this. See, it have passed. So the same thing, the same techniques. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. There is nothing else to do. The same techniques. I'm gonna make this 4y25. I'm gonna make this 4y25. I'm going to make this 4y25, 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 4y25. I'm going to make this 4y25. I'm going to make this 4y25, 4y25, and going to extend this, then crack at both and extend this. So I am going to say okay, it didn't go. We'll come back again on it. Yes, I want to reselect bars. 4 4y25, 4 4 4 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 bars, 4 bars. So I can use here, okay, I can make here 3, and make here 3 bars of y25. I'll say okay. See, it has passed. So if I want to generate calculation sheets for this, I'll just go to design reports, do the same thing I did in column. So I'm just going to do it, show you. So you just select your the text font you want. I like that Constantia. I like Constantia. I like Constantia. Okay, let's use MS Sharif. Let's use 12, and let's use. Going to say okay. So you give it time; it will have to generate. You see, it's loading, it's running, and but it's taking much of. It's going to take much of our time, but so now, but that is it for beam and column this thing. So if you want to get the details, just like this thing is running, if you want to get the details, we'll just go here You get your automatic details. You get all your automatic details um, in AutoCAD. Then you can now start your AutoCAD work. You can now start your AutoCAD work. You get your automatic details, and you can now start your AutoCAD work. So this is gonna take time. It's gonna take a bit of our time, but let's see. I should have reduced this to few members. We just select few members and get their call sheets. So you see the calculation sheet is out. You have your loads and you have your shear force, you have your moment envelopes, and so you have your bending moment at the edges, shear and torsion designs. Um, it's giving you see the details. So you can take this to PDF. I don't want to go there and I'll exist this. You can get your beam capacity report, your bar list utilization. But let's take these drawings to AutoCAD. So these drawings now, first, I want to filter only story one so that it won't take us time again. So I want to filter and have only story one. So this is only story one. So I'm going to say automatic detail. I'll go to detail drawing. I'll say automatic details and I'll say auto details. And to just say, I'll say insert quantity table, I'll say okay. So automatically, this will take us to AutoCAD. This will take us to AutoCAD. So as I click OK, I'll wait for it. It's it's not easy for Ezekiel. Talk about his younger brother Hezekiah. So we'll wait for it. So like previously I told you my base card editor is 2007. So despite I have 2018, 2016, it still took me back to 2007. So you see my beam detailing. You just have to do a little work on this. You have 4Y25 here, and I'm having 4Y25 bottom one. So I from here to this point, see this, that is this reinforcement. 2 by 4y25. So it's expecting you to have 4y25, 4y25, like 2 layers. So if you check the section, you see the first one, 2 by 4y25. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 by 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So you have like 16 4y25. Do you understand the detail? So this is their cranks, the cranks we were adding and all that. This is it, and so now that is it for your details in AutoCAD. That is it for your details in AutoCAD. So now I'm going to um, what is it called? I'm going to close this. I will run one foundation. And it's for you to do foundation. You have to go to story zero. You have to go to story zero, or you come here and click story zero. You see, because I clicked it there, it automatically changed here to story zero. So now I want to reduce this. So this is my foundation layout. This is my foundation layout. So how do I insert? So I want to add a ground beam. I'll add this and say ground beam of 450 depth. And, I'll take it from here to here. This is where my ground is. You should know the one that is your cantilever grid and the one that is not your cantilever grid. So when you draw, you just exercise a little patience. So you just exercise a little patience, and so I will show you now. Now I will show you striped foundation. I'll do one exercise on striped foundation, and I'll do one exercise on I will do one on pad foundation. So by tomorrow, we will do pile, and we will do what's it called? We will do pile foundation and raft foundation. So I'll treat pile tomorrow. I'll treat raft tomorrow. I'll treat pile and raft. So we'll just do the video, and we'll just do it. Then it won't take us much time. We'll just take the questions, and we are out of the class. So we'll now wait for your training. When you go and try, when you try, you get back to us. We are here to help you from now till the next 1 month. We are giving that grace. Go and learn. So for those our fathers who are not coping too fast, we'll talk with you people, and we'll see how we can take it gradually, probably day by day, or however. We'll see how we'll help you um, achieve those things. So I'm joining that. You get. So I'm going to. So so far, I think this is how far I want to run it. This is the way I want my ground beam to be. If you still have your own pattern, you can fix it up. Okay, let's say I want to take from here to here. I'll say yes. And also want to take from here to here. Probably this to this, and So let's take it like this. Let's take it like this. Or probably if you still want, you can do something like this. If you still want, you can do something like this. So now at this point, I've added the ground beams. I've added the ground beams. So if I'm just doing part foundation, this is what I would do. I'll select this column only. I'll right click. I'll say insert part base. So he's telling me footing label. I can call it C1. Yes, I can call it column 1. No, column base 1, CB1. The column depth is 5-story building. Okay, for instance, now we'll have this is where the moment make sure this is coming up, the axial load and the moment is coming up. Make sure it's coming up. So the unit weight of the soil is what you get, and the allowable stress is what you get from the geotechnical test. From the geotechnical test is what you get from there. So the footing depth, now I can say, okay, footing depth, let's say 450, and I'll say allowable stress is I'll say is okay. I'll click on calculate. So it's telling me on y direction, shear at the column blah 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 field, shear at the column face, um, shear force is this and is greater than or less than this. So you see why it's failing. But other ones are okay. So I'll say, okay, make it a square footing. If it's square footing, the thing passed and it's giving me 2.3 by 2.3. I can say, okay, okay. And I have my footing. I have my footing inserted. I have my footing inserted. Do you get it? So now by tomorrow, I'll show you how to get the details of your footing. The details of your footing. And so now, assuming I want to add, I'll select this. I want to add a stripe foundation. A stripe foundation. I'll right click, select the wall or the a beam. I will okay. A stripe foundation. Let me say I want to use, where do I have two beams together? Okay, a beam linking two columns. So I have this. I'll select this beam. I'll right click. See, I'll go down. You see insert stripe. Insert stripe. I'll click. So tell me, I'll say use design envelope. Use design envelope. So when I say use design envelope, it will, when I say use design envelope, I can now say, okay, calculate. Look at this extension by 1 meter, right extension by 1 meter, or left extension by 1 meter. Footing depth is 400. The width is what I don't know. The bars, I'm using Y25, not Y16. And I can come out here and say calculate. So it's okay. So it's giving me a footing of width 3.244.8 and beam section 225 by the beam inside that beam there is 225 at 450, and effective depth of footing is 290, and it's 290. So I'll say okay. So once I say okay and click okay, I will have my pad footing inserted. I'll have my pad footing inserted. I'll have my pad footing inserted. Okay, I'll have my pad fitting inserted. So, but at this point, I would like to call it a day. My battery is getting down, but I've shown you how to put um, pad foundation, strip foundation, pad foundation, strip foundation. So you can do this. Please, please, please try this. Please try this. Let it not just be that normal online class. Let it not just be that normal online class. Please, I'm begging you, try this, and get back to us by tomorrow, and we'll see how God will help us. You'll see. It's just a very simple thing. It's just that you've not been giving it thought and time. You've not been giving it. So if anybody have a question or whatever to say, I'll permit you to say that. I'm waiting. If you have anything to say, please, please pop up. Okay, we'll have someone is saying something. Okay, this person said, "Thank you, sir. This is really an eye-opening class. God bless you, sir. God bless you too. I really appreciate. I really appreciate. All right, we are still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting.